The day I found out my best friend was trying to steal my husband started like any other. Coffee, a quick kiss goodbye to Mark as he left for work, and a text from Chloe. "Brunch this weekend?" she asked. Innocent enough, right? But something had been off for months. A weird tension in the air whenever the three of us were together. A lingering glance from Chloe to Mark that lasted just a second too long. A private joke between them that I wasn't in on. I told myself I was being paranoid. Chloe and I had been inseparable since kindergarten. She was my person. She wouldn't do that. But my gut, that little voice we so often ignore, was screaming at me. So, I started paying attention. Little things. At first, she'd bring Mark his favorite coffee when she came over, but never anything for me. She'd compliment his new shirt, his haircut, the way he laughed. When she talked to him, she leaned in close, her voice dropping to a soft, intimate tone. It was a performance, and I was the unwilling audience. The final straw came during our annual summer barbecue. I was inside getting more drinks when I looked out the kitchen window. I saw them by the old oak tree at the edge of the yard. Chloe was touching Mark's arm, laughing, her head tilted just so. And Mark was laughing with her, but he looked uncomfortable. He subtly pulled his arm away. In that moment, I knew it wasn't just my imagination. She was actively trying to wedge herself between us. My heart didn't break, it hardened. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to get even, but not in a loud, dramatic way. No, my revenge would be quiet, deliberate, and perfectly, deliciously sweet. My plan started with a girls' weekend. I told Chloe I needed a break and wanted to reconnect, just the two of us. I booked a fancy spa resort, the kind she loved, all funded by a surprise bonus from my work, a little lie to set the stage. She was ecstatic, completely oblivious. The whole weekend, I played the part of the doting best friend. We had facials, massages, and sipped champagne by the pool. I listened intently as she complained about her dating life, how she could never find a good man like Mark. "He's just so attentive and kind," she'd sigh, looking at me with fake sympathy. "You're so lucky, babe." I just smiled and nodded. "I really am," I'd reply, holding her gaze. Every word of praise she had for my husband was another twist of the knife she didn't know I was holding. Phase 2 of my plan was about information. During our heart-to-hearts that weekend, I expertly steered the conversation. I learned about the new promotion she was desperately trying to get at her marketing firm. It was a huge step up, and she was competing with a colleague named David. She'd drop little comments about how she was more qualified, more creative, but worried that David's by-the-book approach was favored by their old-fashioned boss. I stored every detail away. She thought she was confiding in her best friend. In reality, she was handing me the blueprints for her own downfall. Back home, I put the final pieces into motion. First, I needed to handle the Mark situation. I sat him down one evening and told him calmly, "I know Chloe has feelings for you, and I know she's been making advances." He looked shocked, then relieved. He admitted it had been happening for a while, but he didn't know how to tell me without hurting me or destroying my friendship with Chloe. He'd been trying to shut her down gently, hoping she'd get the hint. We talked for hours, and it was the most honest conversation we'd had in a long time. It actually made us stronger. We were a team, and now he was my secret accomplice. Next, I turned my attention to Chloe's career. Using a new email address and a disguised voice app, I posed as a concerned colleague and sent an anonymous tip to her boss. The email detailed a few unprofessional incidents Chloe had proudly told me about, like taking credit for a junior team member's idea and slightly exaggerating the results of a past campaign to a client. Small things on their own, but together, they painted a picture of someone willing to cut corners for personal gain. I also made sure to praise her rival, David, for his integrity and meticulous work ethic, using the exact phrases Chloe had used to describe him. The grand finale was a dinner party. I invited a small group of our mutual friends, including Chloe, of course. Just before everyone arrived, Mark accidentally left his phone on the coffee table, open to a fake text exchange I had created between him and a made-up number. The texts were flirtatious, talking about a secret meeting. I made sure Chloe would see it. As she walked in, her eyes immediately darted to the phone. I saw the flicker of triumph in her expression. She thought he was cheating on me, and that her moment had finally come. Throughout dinner, she was practically glowing, shooting me pitying looks. Then, halfway through the main course, my phone buzzed. I looked at it and feigned shock. "Oh my God," I said. my voice trembling. Chloe, you got the promotion. Congratulations. The table erupted in cheers. Chloe's face was a mask of confusion. What? How do you know? They weren't announcing it until tomorrow. I just smiled. David just texted me to congratulate you. He said the boss was so impressed with your recent pitch. Her confused smile froze. David? Texting me? Before she could process that, Mark's phone, still on the table, lit up with a call. The contact name was my love with a heart emoji. Everyone quieted down. Mark looked at me, winked, and answered on speaker. Hey, honey. What's up? He said, and my mom's voice filled the room. Just calling to see if you remembered to pick up my prescription, sweetie. Don't forget. I love you. Mark laughed. Of course, Ma. Love you too. He hung up. He then looked directly at Chloe, his expression unreadable. Oh, by the way, Chloe, he said, his voice casual but firm. I think we need to set some boundaries. Your behavior lately has been making both of us uncomfortable. The silence was deafening. Every eye at the table was on Chloe. Her triumphant smirk had dissolved into a pale, horrified mask. She couldn't say a word. She saw the fake texts weren't for a lover. Her career victory was orchestrated by her rival, and her target, my husband, had just publicly rejected her in front of all our friends. She had tried to steal my husband and ruin my marriage, but instead, she lost her reputation, her dignity, and her best friend. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cause a scene. I just watched as her world, which she tried so hard to build at the expense of mine, crumbled around her. And that, my friends, was the perfect revenge. She never bothered us again. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.